Hey guys, what is up? Niad here with Film Comics Explained, and we are back with some more 28 Days Later, picking up where we last left off. I wanted to get back into how I made my first few videos, not with the inexperienced crappy video slides of my amateur days, but with more of a focus on the artists, with a little introduction on the creative driving team that are responsible for the work we are exploring. I love films and comics. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? And I wanted to create a channel that is supportive of the incredible artists that allow us to suspend our disbelief and enter horrifying fantasy worlds. 28 Days Later was written by Michael Allen Nelson, with art by Declan Shelvey and Leonardo Manco. Michael Nelson is an American comic book writer and novelist, best known for his work on Hexed, Supergirl via DC Comics, and 28 Days Later. Leonardo Manco is an Argentinian comic book artist, known for his dark and gritty style, having worked on Hellstorm, Doom, and Hellblazer. Although Manco is the main artist for the next few chapters we're exploring, it was actually Declan Shelvey who did the artwork for the first 8 volumes we've already covered. The writers, artists, and whole creative team have gone to great lengths to recreate the world we love in the films. Even as a comic book adaptation, I truly feel the horror, tension, and suspense just as I did watching the films. I'm leaving links to this comic we are about to explore, and other awesome work that the creative team have worked on, so please, go out and get yourself a copy and support these bloody legends. We pick back up with Derek and Selena. Derek is seated on the couch and Selena is looking into his eyes. She tells him it looks good, and he jokingly asks if that was supposed to be funny. Selena then says it was a poor choice of words, before explaining that she meant his cuts were healing nicely. He tells her it feels like his face was crawling with ants, and she reassures him that the itching was a good sign. She asks him if he can see anything at all, and he tells her he can spot dull shadows, vague shapes if it's bright enough. He also informs her that he has a faint thumping in his ears, which is fading in and out. She heads to the kitchen and tells Clint that his retinas were fried. There might be some kind of surgery to help, but other than that, he will never see again. Clint asks how he's taking it, and she says like a smartass, otherwise rather well. Selena then asks him if he is ready. Clint is hesitant, but Selena is adamant that they can't keep putting off this conversation. She then says, "Clint, Derek is blind. We have to decide what we're going to do about it. We didn't save his life just to throw it away by marching him into the heart of the infected territory. And I hate to be this cold, but Derek doesn't exactly have anything to offer now." There is a slight pause while Clint thinks it over. He then says, "If we turn back now, my crew will have died for nothing. No, we continue on, all of us." Selena asks if he is sure, and he confirms this. She then walks away and tells him they should get to it, explaining that she was sick of this place. Selena heads outside to get some fresh air, and we see Douglas following her. "Hey Selena, now that your friend is better, are you going to be leaving?" She says yeah, and Douglas continues. "So I was wondering if, maybe I could go with you? I can carry stuff, I can cook, well, sort of. I can help you take care of your friend, make it easier for you and Clint. I'm real good at taking orders too." Selena then asks, "Why would you want to leave here? It's about as safe a place as there is on this island, and I don't think your mother would like the idea very much either." It's here that Douglas reveals that he hates her. He tells her that he can't stay with her before insisting that he won't. Selena then says that she wouldn't be giving her Mum of the Year, but she loves him, and that's more than most people get. Douglas tells her that he doesn't care. He explains that his father was dead, and it was because of her. She was the one that had sent them into Hellkirk in the first place. Selena says that she also lied to her so that they would save him, insisting that he is alive because of his mother. Douglas corrects her and says, "No, I'm alive because of you. If you don't want me to come with you, fine, but I'm not staying here with her. So, can I come?" We head inside to see Clint approaching Derek. He tells him they're about to leave, and Derek interrupts him and says that she was right, and that they should leave him. Clint asks if he heard their conversation, telling him not to let Selena bother him as she was just being difficult to deal with. Derek then says, "No, she's being smart. I can't drive. I can't be a lookout. I can't even use a camera anymore. Why keep me around?" Clint then looks him dead in the eye and says, "Because there are bears in the woods." Derek tries to keep a straight face, and we see him inevitably succumbing to laughter. "You're my friend, and that's reason enough. Come on, let's get moving." Selena is getting restless. There is a slight pause before he helps Derek up and says, "Sorry, it just takes a little getting used to. Derek then says, "Well, let me know when you get acclimated to my blindness." They find Selena, who is at the door. She asks Derek for his hand and tells him she has something for him. She then hands him a large wooden staff to help him get around. Derek gets used to the grip before genuinely thanking Selena. Kate then appears and says it's good to see him up and about. She asks if this meant they will be leaving, and Selena agrees that is correct. Douglas then appears and tells them he is coming along. We see both Kate and Selena saying, "No, you're not." He looks up to his mother and tells her that he is going even if Selena won't take him, insisting that he is not staying there. Kate is furious, yelling at him to go and put his backpack inside. Douglas looks at Selena and asks for help, but she also tells him that he needs to stay as it was too dangerous out there. Douglas then says, "Very well," before calmly walking out of the house and onto the street. Kate can be seen yelling at him to come back, calling him a selfish ingrate, but Douglas doesn't look back. Selena tells the guys that they should get the hell out of there. We can see Douglas walking on the main road as a blue sedan drives up behind him and eventually overtakes him. The car then stops and we see one of the doors open, causing Douglas to run towards it. Douglas thanks them for coming back to him. Derek then says, "No thanks necessary. You learn pretty quick that Selena talks a tough game, but she's really a big softie." Selena smiles and tells him to piss off, before saying that he is lucky they don't leave him right here. Derek then says that she wouldn't leave him, as he was the most important person. Selena asks how's that, and Derek says, because there are bears in the woods. Douglas asks what this means, and Derek explains, "Infected are like bears. If you want to get away from an attacking bear, you don't have to be the fastest in the group. Just don't be the slowest." They take a break to allow Douglas to go to the bathroom. Clint asks her how much fuel they have, and Selena tells him they have a quarter of a tank, insisting that they need to siphon some more when they can. She yells out, "Preferably before dark," in an effort to get Douglas to hurry up, who replies by saying, "I get nervous with people watching me." Selena shakes her head before yelling that no one is watching him. Clint asks if Derek is okay, who appears to be in discomfort. He tells him that the thumping in his ears was back, stating that his hearing must also be going too. He says it's funny that it almost sounds like, but is interrupted by Selena, who tells him that she can hear it too. They all then begin to run away from the car and head into the bushes. Douglas asks what they are doing, and Selena sternly tells him to shut up and move. He asks if they can hear that, and Selena softly tells him to be quiet as they all look up, to find the same military attack helicopter from before descending on their location. We see the chopper touching down near the car. Douglas yells out that they are saved and is about to run out to them, but is restrained by Selena, who tells him to stay down. Douglas tells her that they were here to help them, but she tells him that they are not, explaining that they were the reason Clint's crew were dead, the reason Derek is blind, the reason Jim and Hannah. There is a slight pause before she says, "The military is not your friend." We see a group of soldiers with heavy tactical gear running out of the helicopter. "Fan out. Anything moves, shoot it. Watkins, check that car." The soldier checks inside and tells them that there were no bodies, just some clothes. He touches the hood and informs them that the engine was still warm and that they must have gone looking for gas. The sergeant informs a captain named Stiles that it looks like they found his rabbit. We see the menacing captain approaching the sergeant. "No, all you found is a car filled with rags. Have your men check the surrounding area." "Now, Sergeant." The sergeant then begins to order his troops. "You heard the man. Watkins, you, Graham and Peterson take the east side of the road. Rourke, you're with me." While Rourke and the sergeant are surveying the area, Rourke tells him that he doesn't like this, as they shouldn't even be here. The sergeant says, if the brass says take this guy on tour, they have to take him on tour. Rourke replies with, "Yeah, I know, but he's got such a hate-on for this girl. We should be rescuing people, not hunting them." The sergeant assures him that he doesn't like taking orders from him any more than he does, and says, "But if he wants to chase rabbits, we have to bark like hounds." The two give up on their search and head back to the chopper. It's important to note that although these soldiers are American, the captain in charge of their operation is British. They all regroup back at the car, and the sergeant asks if his men found anything. They all report that they have nothing, and we see him telling them to pack it in and head back. Stiles tells them that they are doing no such thing, insisting that they will canvass the area from air until they find them. The sergeant tells them that they aren't even sure who they're looking for. Stiles says, Anyone who wasn't infected would have come running the second they saw that thing in the sky, except for this girl. She was here. Rourke tells him that they don't have enough fuel either way. Stiles then tells him if they come back, he wants them on foot, before ordering him to burn the car. He walks up to the Marine and asks him if he has a problem with that, and Rourke tells him that he doesn't, but actually doesn't have a lighter. Stiles then pulls out his sidearm and calls him a moppet before emptying his clip into the wheels of the car. One of the Marines asks what that guy's issue was, and his fellow soldier tells him that he didn't know, but he really wouldn't want to be in this Selena girl's shoes when he finds her. We see the helicopter taking off, allowing the group to come out of hiding. Clint approaches the damage, and Douglas asks why they would do that, stating that he didn't understand what was going on. Clint then says if this was just about us breaking quarantine, they'd just let us take our chances with the infected, but this is something else. They're looking for us. The question is, why? Derek suggests that it's possible their editor told somebody they were heading to London for a story, but Clint insists that it still doesn't make sense. He doesn't think they would come after them. They would just put the pressure on them not to run the story. Selena looks at them and says, whatever the reason, we know it won't be good if they find us. So grab whatever you can carry and let's get moving. We don't want to be here if they come back. Derek jokes that this meant there were more bears in the woods, as the four of them walk off. And that is the end of Volume 9 to 28 Days Later. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to stay up to date on all my content. Also, please check out the links I've provided in the description to purchase this comic, and many more that the creative team have been involved in. As always, it's been a pleasure. Nihat here with Film Comics Explained.